Thank you, Sophie. So whether you're a resident or planning a visit to the San Francisco Bay Area, there's a lot to explore here. And we are so delighted to have two representatives from the Bay Area Ridge Trail join us today. Brian Fritz is our first guest. He's a trail manager, and he brings a background in trail building as a crew leader at the Utah Conservation Corps, along with outdoor education experience at the Pali Institute. Prior to this, Ryan led team-based technical projects as a consultant with special expertise in GIS technology management and stakeholder communication. Ryan holds a Master's of Arts in Managerial Economics from the University of Oklahoma. And a fun fact about Ryan is that he completed a through hike of the 2,200-mile Appalachian Trail in 2021. What an experience, right? Yeah, I bet.
Definitely.
And Alex Sabo is our second guest. She's the Ridge Trails Advocacy and Outreach Manager and brings a passion for getting others involved in their local community, whether through increased participation or outdoor activities, or advocating for community-based initiatives. After graduating with a degree of environmental studies from UCSC, she worked on promotional issues such as water conservation, sustainable landscaping, and climate-friendly commuting. And a fun fact about Alex is that her favorite sunrise is from the top of Half Dome. Another quite an accomplishment. Welcome, both of you. Clearly, you are both passionate about being outdoors and outdoor conservancy. Would you share with us, how did you get into this line of work? Were you a hiker from a young age? Did someone or something inspire you? How did it begin?
Brian, why don't you go ahead?
Sure. Thanks, Anne, for the introduction, and nice to see everyone virtually. I did definitely fall in love with hiking and the outdoors when I was young. Growing up in Dallas, I was in the Scouts, go on bike rides with my mom. And then after college, I did go into what I would call a traditional corporate type of job, but I didn't find it completely fulfilling. So that's when I left to do the Appalachian Trail, try a few different jobs, and then found my way to this job in California as a trail planner, where I really get to see all of the really, really hard work that goes into making these trails and parks that we get to enjoy. And it's been a really great journey so far.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, thanks so much, Anne. Similarly to Ryan, I grew up really enjoying being outside, often went camping and hiking with my family. I grew up in Sacramento, so a lot of time spent in Tahoe, Yosemite, kind of the California classics. And then, going to UC Santa Cruz, spent a lot of time outside, explored a few different career paths, but the common thread between my passions was always being outside and enjoying exploring on trails. So this career seemed like a perfect fit.
It's great to be able to do what you love, isn't it? Yeah. So I understand that you have a brief presentation for us today about the Bay Area Ridge Trail, and then we'll have some times for question and answers after we have the presentation. Why don't you guys take it away?
Great. I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right, can everyone see this okay? All right. So yeah, today we're going to be talking a little bit about exploring the Bay Area Ridge Trail. This shot, just to start us off, is outside of Hayward, Fremont area in the Bay Area. A lot of rolling green hills. So just to give you an initial idea of what there is to explore. So we want to start off a little bit with an overview if you're not familiar with the Bay Area Ridge Trail. We're actually going to start off with a short video. So let me actually make sure that audio is going to work. All right.
Find your local wild on the Bay Area Ridge Trail. The Ridge Trail is a long-distance trail that circles the Bay Area with hundreds of miles of adventures that you can explore today. This inspirational trail links people, parks, and open space for today and future generations. When we are successful, there will be 550 miles of trail circling the ridge lines around the region. But 1/3 of the Ridge Trail loop still remains to be built and connected. The Ridge Trail is a membership organization built of trail lovers just like you. Find your next curated adventure. Join us.
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 Well, that definitely puts a smile on your face. The film does, but please go ahead.
Yeah, glad you liked it. I think that's just to set the scene a little bit of some of the landscapes that the Ridge Trail takes us through. But I wanted to give a little bit more context about what the Ridge Trail is and where it is. So on the map here, for those out of the state maybe unfamiliar with where the Bay Area exactly is, we're right here in around San Francisco on the coast of California. And then if we zoom in, we've got this map here of the Bay Area Ridge Trail, which follows along the ridge lines that surround the San Francisco Bay. Those red lines are the dedicated part of the trail, and the dotted blue part of the line is what is yet to be built or connected. So the Ridge Trail currently is 400 miles, and that's about 73% of what will one day be the fully connected 550-mile loop. And so this is a multi-use trail. It's not just for hiking. It's also open to biking and horseback riding, although those aren't all allowed on all sections of the trail, but we do our best to make it as multi-use friendly as possible. And so we've got about 150 miles left to go. And those are kind of the tougher parts. You know, there's lots of road crossings, freeways, train lines, all kinds of things that will just take a little bit more creativity to build a trail over, through, under, however it may go. The Ridge Trail also connects over 75 parks and open spaces all around the Bay Area. And we work with about 35 different land managers across 9 different counties. So there's a lot of jurisdictions to work with. So a little bit more about how the Ridge Trail came about. It was originally the vision of William Penn Mott Jr., who was the director of the National Park Service, California State Parks, as well as the East Bay Regional Park District in the Bay Area. So a lot of experience with parks and trails. And he had this vision for a fully connected loop around the ridge lines, and actually ultimately envisioned it connecting to the Sierras. So a lot of big vision there. And in 1987, a few different organizations came together. Some interested stakeholders, different groups formed the Bay Area Ridge Trail Council, which is the organization Ryan and I work for. And 2 years later was the first trail dedication of the Ridge Trail in 1989 in Parisma Creek Redwood Preserve in San Mateo County, kind of south of San Francisco. So since then, we've gotten to a little over 400 miles, and we're making good progress. So the mission of the Ridge Trail Council, since William Penn Mott Jr. first cooked up the idea, is to plan, promote, and sustain a connected hiking, cycling, and equestrian trail on the ridgelines around the Bay, linking people, parks, and open space for today and future generations. And so how we accomplish this mission or work towards it, there's a few different ways that the Ridge Trail Council works. One is our kind of direct action we take. We work to dedicate the little parts of the Ridge Trail that all connect up to make this loop. The trail planners on our team, like Ryan, help our partners conduct route studies to see, you know, which routes are going to be the best and most feasible for the trail to be built. And then we also host stewardship projects with our partners to help maintain the trail, keep it in tip-top shape. We also do a lot of advocacy. We want to build public support for this trail. That's really important. We are a member-supported organization, so we depend on our members to not only just for their donations, but also for their voice to advocate for the trail. We partner with the land managers to keep connecting pieces of the Ridge Trail, and then we also advocate for funding from local level all the way to federal level. We also, as the trail gets built and more of it exists, we want to, you know, help people get out on the trail and find that adventure. So we guide a lot of treks and overnight outings. We host something called Very Important Trail Outings, VIT. These are parts of the trail that might not always be open to the public, but we work with the land managers to allow some special access for during guided outings. So that's kind of a perk that we provide for people. And then we also offer a lot of tools and resources to help people get outside and explore. So now that you know a little bit more about the Ridge Trail Council, we wanted to dive in and actually get to know the Ridge Trail a little better. So there's a variety of landscapes that the Ridge Trail travels through. It's, you know, 400 miles. So there's, you know, from rolling green hills to bayside communities, kind of rocky mountainous terrain up in Mount St. Helena, kind of, you know, golden, kind of sloping hills, big vistas overlooking reservoirs, and all the way to, you know, San Francisco, paved, smooth paths as well. So there's kind of something for everybody out on the Ridge Trail. We also wanted to highlight that there are about 50 miles, give or take, that are considered paved or easy access trail along the Ridge Trail. These are different sections around the Bay Area. So depending on where you live or maybe where you're planning to visit, there is likely an accessible trail near you. And so some of the resources, if you're looking to get out on a Ridge Trail and want to check how accessible it is, we have our official Ridge Trail guidebook that's available to purchase on the website. And we do also have all of our maps available as PDFs on our website as well. We also have something called the Planning Navigator on our website. We'll make sure to provide some links so that after the presentation, you'll be able to access these resources. But the Planning Navigator has loads of information about each section of the trail, including accessibility. And then we're also currently working on a page on our website that will be dedicated to accessibility information. So that will be available soon. And if you want to make sure that you're up to date on new tools like that or new resources, I highly suggest subscribing to our e-newsletter. We send it out about once a month, and it always has the most up-to-date information as well as events and other resources. So now I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Ryan. He's going to talk a little bit more about some parts of the Ridge Trail that are opening soon, so that you can keep an eye out for that and try out the newest Ridge Trails.
Thanks, Alex. And like Alex said earlier, the last 150 or so miles are some of the most complicated miles to add to the Ridge Trail, but we do have a super exciting year of trail openings planned, starting with the Calistoga Ridge Trail up in Napa County. Thanks, Alex. You can see it's in the north part of the trail. This will be about 4.9 miles available for hiking and biking. And it is mostly paved, so you can go out on a nice stroll, a nice bike ride. It'll also be part of the Vine Trail, which is a long trail planned through Napa. And we're expecting to have a grand opening in fall of 2023. So excited to share more information on that opening. You can go to the next one, Alex. Another opening also in Solano County is the Betuino Wortla Kodoi Dihi Open Space Park. And this will have 2.5 miles of ridge trail, but a whole network of other trails within this open space park, including a very cool, accessible all people's trail, which used some high-tech technology to make a paved trail that will be open to any type of users with interactive kiosks and information about the environment and people who've called it home. And it's also expected to open in fall 2023. And one of the cool things about this park is how much work from volunteers they've had to actually make the park happen. So it's one of those things where they are always looking for stewards and opportunities to actually get out there and make some trail. And you can go to the next one, Alex. And then finally, if we go towards the south, we have the Mayan Oyakma Coyote Ridge Open Space Preserve. And this is also a big preserve with the trail network, 3.8 miles of ridge trail. And it's an awesome preserve for serpentine grasslands and habitat for rare species like the bay checker spot butterfly. It's one of the few places really in the world that is home to these species. And so the managers of this park want to make sure it both protects the species that call it home and provides a really great public access opportunities for members of the community to go out and enjoy what's out there. And it's also expected to open in fall 2023, but they're starting a bit of a early access at the end of May with permits and docent-led hikes. So kind of an opportunity to get a sneak peek at what's out there. And that's also something that we'll be sharing more information about in our newsletter and coordinating with our partners down there.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Ryan. Now I'm going to go on to a little bit more information about getting out on the trail now that we know about all the exciting new parts of it that are going to open soon. So we have, like I said, a lot of tools and resources available on our website to help you plan your outing and be as prepared as possible, and also help you while you're out on the trail. So on our website, we have PDF downloadable maps for each trail section, as well as that planning navigator I talked about. This is a little snapshot of it. It's kind of like a big spreadsheet, but it has links and details about every trail section, as much information as you could possibly want to know. You know, is there parking? Are there restrooms? Is it possible to, go with a friend, take two cars and shuttle on each end so that you don't have to, do the trail twice out and back? Information like that is all in that tool on our website. We also have a couple of mobile apps if you like to be, out on the trail with your phone. All Trails, which you might have heard of, and Outer Spatial as well. These both have all of our trails available on them. You can track your location while you're on the trail to make sure you don't get lost. And there's a lot of other good information for preparing your outing. Like I said, we have the official guidebook. And then we also have something on Facebook, our Facebook group called Ridge Trail Trekkers. And this is actually a really great community to join if you're on Facebook. It's a lot of people who have hiked, biked, horseback ridden many, many parts of the Ridge Trail. Some people are on there, just getting started. But it's a great community with a lot of knowledge about the different trails. And so if you have specific questions or maybe want a buddy to go out with you, if you're planning a hike or an outing, it's a really nice community to be a part of. So highly recommend joining that group. And another way you might want to go out and experience the Ridge Trail if you're feeling ambitious is circumnavigation. This is what we call the journey across every section of the existing today dedicated Ridge Trail. And how you want to do it is totally up to you. We don't have any hard and fast rules about what we consider a successful circumnavigation. You can do it by hiking, running, horseback riding, biking. Someone asked me if the Ridge Trail is navigable by tandem bike recently, which I'm not quite sure. I don't think anyone, to my knowledge, has ever tried that before, but there's a lot of creative ways to get out there. You can go, on each trail segment, you can go clockwise around the Bay Area, counterclockwise, or maybe some other order, whatever you like. And, some people might do it in some matter of weeks if they're really feeling ambitious. But other people go at their own pace and they go, months, or maybe it takes them a few years. So it's really up to you. Really, the whole experience is just about exploring all the things that the Ridge Trail has to offer. And I wanted to share a perspective of one of our current circumnavigators, Walter Moore. What he said about the experience was that circumnavigation really opens up extraordinary experiences almost every time you go out. If it's not learning about a new area, it's just that the trail itself is stunning. And I know Walter has really just enjoyed seeing all those different landscapes that we showed earlier. There's just kind of a wealth of different experiences available here in the Bay Area. And I think circumnavigation really helps you see just how variable all of the landscapes and communities are around here. And so if this is something that you're interested in, just wanted to let you know we have a lot of fun ways to celebrate the accomplishment as well. So we have our own wall of fame on our website, but you can also get some fun things to show off to your friends, including certificates, patches, and pins. But if you're interested in this experience, if you're already on your way, even there's a lot of great information at our website, ridgetrail.org/circumnavigation. And I also wanted to share some of our outings and volunteer opportunities that are coming up. If you're feeling ready, you're feeling like you want to get out there, we have one of those very important trail outings at Hill Ranch in Marin. This is a location where we have a relationship with the landowner there to allow us to get access to this really beautiful area in Marin. So we've got a hike coming up on March 25th. There's a few spots left if you're interested. Ridge to Bridge is our biggest event of the year, coming up on April 29th. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. If you're interested in camping with us and getting out and hiking, Solano Overnighter is in May. That's in Benicia area. We also have a volunteer opportunity coming up on National Trails Day, June 3rd. A hike with the Sequoia Audubon, so maybe getting some birding in there in June. Our East Bay Hills Hike and Ride Benefit. That's a really fun multi-day. You can either hike or horseback ride. There's camping, and we kind of provide all of the gear, moving, and so you can just enjoy the hiking and the camping, and meals are provided. And it's a big fundraiser for not just the Ridge Trail, but other trails in the East Bay. And then we also have Ridge Trail Service Day, and that is our biggest trail stewardship day of the year on the first Saturday in November. And we have many projects all over the Bay Area, usually ranging from about 10 to 20. And so no matter where you are, or if you're visiting, there's probably a project nearby you. And it's just this great day of people getting out, fixing up the trail. There's a variety of tasks. So no matter what your capabilities are, if you want to get out there with a pickaxe or maybe just do some weeding, it all goes towards really making the Ridge Trail, keeping it maintained, and just an enjoyable experience for everyone that goes there. And again, all of these are, advertised and links to register are in our e-newsletter. So another plug for that if you want to stay up to date on our events. And just to dive in a little bit more on that Ridge to Bridge event, Saturday, April 29th. Again, biggest event of the year. It's in the Marin Headlands, these beautiful green rolling hills overlooking the San Francisco Bay. It's a day full of community, adventure, and purpose. So it's a lot of people who love being outside, coming together on one day. It's usually about 350 people or so, hiking, biking, horseback riding. So it's a lot of guided adventures possible for you. And then all the registration fees go towards supporting the Ridge Trail and all just propelling our mission to connect the rest of the Ridge Trail. So it's selling out, but we do have some tickets still available for our 6-mile hike, which includes a shuttle. So again, you don't have to make it a 12-mile hike. You can just do the 6, 20-mile bike ride, and then 8-mile equestrian ride as well. So if you're interested in this event, or maybe if you just want to, if you aren't able to go with us that day, if you just want to support the event, support people who are fundraising for the Ridge Trail, you could also donate. We have a number of people fundraising for this event as well. So ridgetrail.org/RTB2023. Just to share some pictures of what this event is like if you're considering it. Beautiful views, great food with other people who love trails, enjoying just a sunny, beautiful spring day in Marin. It's a great time. So highly recommend. All right. And I think that's it for our presentation. If you have questions, we're always open to answering them. Our contact information is there, and I'm sure we'll follow up with more of those links and things. But now I think we're available if you have questions.
Yes, thank you so much. That was really an interesting presentation. Makes you want to get out there and do it, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I've been noticing that we've been getting some questions. So Sophie, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Yes, we have a question about whether these trails are somehow connected to public transportation or transit. Can you share with us how folks can get to these parks and places?
Yeah, I can take this one, Ryan. So there are definitely parts of the trail that are connected to public transportation. The trail goes through some cities as well. So parts of like Petaluma, San Jose, those are very easily accessible by buses, BART on some of the locations. Some parts aren't as directly connected to public transit, but with things like Lyft and Uber, that has become a lot more feasible if you don't have a car or don't prefer not to drive. And so the information on our website with the maps and everything can help direct you to those transit connections.
Great, thank you. Yes, these the trail information sheets are quite robust. I encourage folks to take a look at it. We have another question. Any plans to extend the Ridge Trail and connect with East Bay parks like Pleasanton Ridge, Las Trampas in the Tri-Valley area?
Alex, do you know that area more?
Yeah, East Bay resident right here. Our trail doesn't currently go through that area. It stays along kind of the ridgeline more through like Mission Peak, and I know like Ohlone Wilderness is out there, and so it kind of skirts that a little bit. But we do definitely, when we're developing trails, look to make connector trails between the Ridge Trail and other trail systems, so that you're not just on one single track. You have those opportunities to connect to other trails, and so I'm not super sure about those specific areas, but it's very possible that there are already trail connections between them and us.
That's actually a great segue to the next question about if the trails are not complete, can you still kind of like hike through and then join the next connector area?
I can definitely take that one. And the truth is, it depends. With 400 miles and growing, there are certainly some areas where people have gotten creative and done road connections or used other park trails that aren't the Ridge Trail to link up. But then some of our other gaps are just, for example, where we hit private property and we'd like to extend the trail at some point, but for the time being, it would just be an out and back. And a lot of people will kind of choose to hike the Ridge Trail as sort of a network of trails. A lot of people will get 2 cars and do a little shuttle or do an out and back, or just make loops with some of the other trails. So when there's a will, there's a way. Some of our circumnavigators have done some pretty impressive things to link up different parts of the trail, but until we really reach that vision of a fully connected trail, there are still some gaps that can't be passed.
One other question I see here, are dogs allowed on most trails?
Yeah, and we actually are working on a dog-friendly feature on our interactive website map, because I know a lot of folks like to get out there with furry friends, and just being able to see if it's dog-friendly. And also the All Trails app does mention a lot of trails that will be dog-friendly. And, it's also one of those things you can check with park website partners to make sure before you get out there.
Yeah, as a dog owner myself, I'll say a lot of the East Bay trails are dog friendly, not all of them, but a lot of them. Whereas on the peninsula, it's a lot of open space preserves, mountain lion habitat, some places. I've never seen a mountain lion. I'm not saying there's a lot out there, but they are trying to protect the species there. So the peninsula might not be as dog friendly.
Thank you. I see also in the chat, Marie from the Bay Area Ridge Trail has put in some of the links to the events that you mentioned, as well as the website. And any other questions that come to mind? Oop, and you're on mute.
I have to say, I'm curious, given the weather that we've had recently, and thinking about that in the connection to volunteers, because Alex, you mentioned that a lot. So has the weather, the kind of storming we've had recently, added to your need for volunteers to help with that in that role, or do you not use volunteers in that way?
Yeah, there's definitely, I'm sure, going to be a lot of volunteer need in the coming months. Some of our land manager partners have really great volunteer programs. We usually coordinate with them since they're the ones who own and manage the land. They usually run the volunteer programs, and we kind of help coordinate. So if you're interested, I definitely suggest, getting in the loop with our e-news and on our website. I'm sure we'll have a lot of volunteer opportunities outside of just the couple of ones that I mentioned. Yeah, a lot of branches everywhere. There's some washing out of the trails that have happened, and yeah, it's not surprising having had snow in the Bay Area for the first time in many years.
Right. Snow that's stuck. Right. Yeah. Anyone else? Sophie?
Just a quick question about the circumnavigators. So how many have actually completed? Any idea?
We don't really know exactly how many, because we, they don't always tell us about it. Some people, have their quiet journey around the Ridge Trail, but so far we have about 30 or so people since we only just launched our kind of Wall of Fame program in the last year or so. And so we've had about 30 or so people report their finished circumnavigation to us. But we know there's so many more. The Ridge Trail has been around now for over 30 years. And so there's definitely been many more people to do it. But if you want to be early on the Wall of Fame, now's a good time to do it.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. And as a close, I had one final question. AARP is very interested in age-friendly, livable communities, and that means also including parks and open spaces in people's live environment. And I wondered if you could talk, each of you, a little bit about why that's so important.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to start. I think for me, it's such a good question, but it starts with love. And I think we will take care of the things that we love. And so the way to take care of nature and the world around us is to get people to fall in love with it.
Yeah.
And the way they're doing that is by going out and using it and sharing it with friends and family. And I think we do our best to help with that by providing a really high quality, accessible, fun outdoor experience for users of all kinds. So that way we'll take care of it for us and all the people who come after us.
Yeah, definitely. Everything that Ryan said, I find a lot of healing and peace in nature when I get outside. And so I think it's so important to your physical health, your mental health, and building community as well. There's a lot of good conversations that just happen when you're out on the trail with somebody. And so yeah, it's so important to protect it and share it with the community through all of our events and things like that. I hope our organization is bringing that to everyone so that we can enjoy it today and for future generations, just like our mission says.
Well, thank you so much for helping us explore the Ridge Trail and for the work that you do to preserve the Bay Area Ridge Trail. For those who are local or planning to visit the area, be sure to visit their website at ridgetrail.org, RIDGETRAIL.org. And I think it's back to you, Sophie. Thank you again.
Great. Thank you so much, Ryan, Alex, Anne, for this amazing program. It makes me really excited to get outdoors and go explore once the rain subsides a bit. And I also want to give a shout out to our volunteers, Jeannie and Sarita, who have been helping us today on the back end of this program. And thank you, viewers, for joining us today. We will be launching a survey to see how we did today. Please let us know how we can continue to offer programs like this and improve upon them as well. We're excited. This is the first of a series on getting outdoors. And our next program will be focusing on zoos. So we'll be down at the Happy Hollow Zoo in San Jose on April the 26th at 12 noon. We look forward to sharing more about that program in the weeks to come, but so glad that you joined us today. And a big shout out to our friends over at the Bay Area Ridge Trail. This does conclude today's program. Thanks so much. Be safe. Take good care. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.